On the restart with 8 to go, adding a lap to the caution.
That's going to make this fuel situation just a little bit tighter.
Yep. They have a couple of other people to get in the proper order for the restart. And since final finishing positions are at stake here,
so these teams were planning on this race being 312 laps. It's already 316.
While they work around the speedway slowly under caution before the finish, we remind you that Tuesday on ESPN, 4 championship coaches headline the State Farm Champions Classic from the Georgia Dome, side of the Final Four. At 7, Tom Izzo Spartans take on Bill Self's Jayhawks. Then at 9, the Blue Devils and Wildcats square off for the first time in a decade. The State Farm Champions Classic, Michigan State, Kansas at 7, Duke, Kentucky at 9, Tuesday on ESPN. Watching ESPN in 3D, ESPN, the home of college hoops. We check with Jamie.
And we're back here at the NASCAR hauler. You see 4 policemen guarding it. That is because Jeff Gordon and his crew chief, Alan Gustafson, are in there talking to NASCAR. Now, I was just told that these guys will escort Jeff Gordon back to his bus. Meanwhile, to my left, Clint Boyer's car is back in the garage, and so is Clint Boyer. Guys?
Restart. 2 laps to go. Will it be Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch, or someone else? Slipping, while Harvick clears Kyle Busch for the race lead. Danica Patrick into the wall, spinning back down into traffic. White flag is out. This is the last lap of the race. Does Harvick have enough fuel to get back here? See Kyle Busch almost spinning there inside of Denny Hamlin. They're coming to turn 3. Patrick is driven away from the scene. The long dry spell for Kevin Harvick and Richard Childress Racing comes to a close at Phoenix. He slides to the finish line while they crash behind him. Keselowski threads the needle as cars crash to the checkered flag.
I don't understand why they didn't throw the caution there. Car was losing a lot of fluid.
Mark Martin, Kurt Busch, Ryan Newman, all torn up. Patrick in the middle of it.
Big hop out.
Paul Menard. Side of the new championship leader's car.
He's lucky. That's all he's got. Very, very fortunate. Yeah, that's a situation where you can't let that dictate. When there's an accident, the caution has to be thrown. I realize what we've been through and trying to get this done, but the circumstances shouldn't dictate that whatsoever. Still a great win for Harvick. Oh, what a great job he did of driving this car to victory.
Passed Kyle Busch on the outside on a restart with 8 to go. Got away from Kyle Busch on the outside on a green-white checker restart. Managed to slide sideways a little bit through some of that liquid that it appeared was on the racetrack coming off turn 4 and get to the checkered flag. And for Kevin Harvick, a day that for so many others has resulted in mayhem and chaos, is going to result in a victory celebration, the first one since September of 2011 for Harvick. Brad Keselowski will finish 6th. Well, while Brad looks at his race car, gathers his thoughts, let's look at all that happened.
got in the left rear. Danica, she just goes up and crashes pretty hard. Surprised the caution didn't come out here. And it should be thrown right there. Car sitting in the middle of the racetrack.
Look at the streak.
Wow. Brad Keselowski, very, very fortunate that he got back there without more damage and, wow, some hard hits right here. Look at Danica. Just right there. Oh. What a mess.
Look at Harvick. Look at it.
See Harvick just power sliding through there. A lot of cars. Oh, man. Kurt Busch hit a ton. Ryan Newman took a couple of hard hits. That's a hard way to get a top 5 finish. That's what Newman did.
Try to give a car to wall on the inside lane. Coming to the checker here. Come on through here. Let's get through here. There you go. I want to say it's P5. Big wreck behind you now. Gonna have a big wreck behind you. A lot of.
Well, Vince, top 6 finish for Brad Keselowski and the championship lead heading to the final race.
He's managing a smile, but certainly was a hard-earned smile today. You're the championship leader. We'll address that in a moment. But first, how about the finish and everything you had to drive through to get there?
You know, I raced pretty hard last week at Texas, and a couple guys gave me flack for it. But there's a difference between racing hard and what we saw today. You know, that was, borderline ridiculous at times. We survived, and I'm proud of everyone on the Miller Lite team for that. We had a great car, and things just didn't quite play to our strengths, but that's okay. I felt very lucky to make it through all the corners today.
You have a 21-point lead in the championship. What was your initial thought when you realized that Jimmy Johnson had been involved in the accident?
My initial thought was I heard he blew a right front tire, and I was thinking, what conspiracy theorist is going to come up with a theory on this one? And then you realize that the same thing can happen to you, and so you try not to let that get into you too much, and try to just focus on what you got and make sure you don't have the same problem. And and that was really what I was thinking. Obviously, there's no guarantees. We could go next week to Homestead, have the same problem, and Jimmy take the point lead back over. So no guarantees, but very proud to have that points lead heading into next week.
Yeah, glad you're okay. I know there was some heavy contact there on that car, Brad Keselowski. Dave?
Vince, we are standing by with Jimmy Johnson. Finishes 33rd today, 21 points behind. Jimmy, what is your view of the championship now?
It's way out of our control, obviously, with the problem we had today. We still have to go to Homestead and race, and anything can happen down there, but not the position we want to be in leaving Phoenix. So, I feel terrible for my team and how hard these guys work. Everybody at Hendrick Motorsports, Lowe's, Cobalt Tools, Chevrolet, across the board, there's been a huge effort put into this to try to get us a championship, and I just hate for our day to turn out as it did today, but it's racing, and we'll go to Homestead and do all we can down there and see how things pan out.
Jimmy, what was going on with the race car, and what were you trying to do with it when the accident occurred?
We were cruising along, and I think we're going to have a top 10 day, maybe a top 5 day if things worked out at the end. And I had a slight vibration starting in the right front. I didn't know where it was really coming from, but clearly now it was the right front. And then as I was coming off turn 4, it went down and straight in the wall I went. So another 30-40 feet around the corner, I probably just had a flat, not hit the wall. But where it let go, I had a direct line into the wall and knocked it down.
Fate usually smiles on you. It didn't seem to that time.
No, it's the way way it goes. Anything can happen in racing. I'm very proud of the year. I'm very proud of the effort my entire Lowe's team has put in. Hate to see it potentially end this way, but again, that's racing. I've been doing this a long time, and I've won a few championships, and I've lost a lot. Losing isn't any fun. But we'll be back next weekend and next year, hungrier than ever, and do the best job we can.
And now, when double checking timing and scoring, it is 20 points now that Jimmy is behind Brad Keselowski.